Everything you should know before your trip to Japan. I've got a long list of things for us to get through. I also asked you guys over on my Instagram what you wish you knew before you came to Japan, so I can get through some of those as well. This is gonna be a long video, so buckle up. I also wanted to congratulate you if you're watching this video, because that means you're probably coming to Japan soon and it might be your first time visiting, and that deserves a round of applause. Congratulations for investing in experiences and fulfilling probably a dream that you've had for a very long time. It's honestly something to be celebrated. This is new-ish news for inbound tourists. So Japan Airlines offers free domestic flights to select cities in Japan to tourists from outside of Japan who purchase a round-trip international ticket to Japan. So the promotion is intended to get you guys to travel to other areas in Japan and support tourism in the countryside or areas that need the business. And in order to get the free domestic flight, you have to book an international and domestic flight together on the JAL website in the same booking. And the flights are only available for domestic travel between select cities. From what I was seeing on their website, there's like 30 different cities you can go to. Okinawa, Akita, Aomori, Hokkaido. That's something that I would definitely be taking advantage of if I were you guys. The wording is a little interesting because you do have to pay the taxes on it, but they're really inexpensive. So from 7,700 yen to 14,300 yen. Terms and conditions, eligibility, residents must be outside of Japan. You need to hold inbounding ticket to Japan and outbounding ticket from Japan. Passport information is required at the time of your purchase, and customers that don't meet the eligibility rules may be asked to purchase a new ticket when checking in at the airport for your domestic flight. I think that this is amazing, and I wish that there had been something like this when I came to Japan for the first time. So if you're interested in taking advantage of that, it's the JAL Japan Explorer Pass. Many over-the-counter medicines and or prescriptions are illegal to bring in Japan, and a lot of people don't realize or think of that. So things like ADHD medicine or things related to that, like I think that there's ways you can bring them into Japan, but they're technically illegal here. I'm gonna link below the US Embassy records, the official government website that tells you everything you need to know about bringing prescription medicines or even over-the-counter medicines and drugs into Japan. If you are not from the United States, the easiest way to find out this information is to simply Google
what medicines or over-the-counter medicines or prescription medicines are illegal for me to bring into Japan from blank.
Please make sure it's an official government website. Typically, the embassy website is the one that you want to trust, and follow whatever rules and directions it gives you. So many people kind of overthink that because it's legal in their country doesn't always mean it's legal here. If you're new here, my name is Caitlin and I've been living in Japan for 5.5 years. I currently work in the tourism space, so please check out the other videos on my channel, follow me on Instagram. I also host guided tours. I have 2 happening in Japan, one October 2025 and one in February 2026. So if you want to join me and other like-minded travelers, please check the link in my bio. One of the things that people seem to overlook is luggage transferring. Yamato Black Cat luggage forwarding service. This is really big in Japan. It's basically kind of like the UPS or FedEx of Japan, but they offer forwarding services for your luggage. So if you're coming to Japan and you're traveling with oversized luggage or a stroller and you don't need to carry that luggage with you, or you want to forward it to the next destination, it's really easy to do. And you can do it from a lot of different locations. You can either Google Black Cat, Yamato, and go to one of those locations. You can also forward your luggage from the actual hotel lobbies, and it's really inexpensive, usually around $13 US for your luggage to get overnighted to the next destination. Such a game changer when you're traveling as a large group, or if you have kids or family like I do. You can just send your large luggage to the next destination and just keep a carry-on piece of luggage on you. Let me give you an example of a time you may use a luggage overnight forwarding service. If you plan on staying in Tokyo for a few days, and then maybe you want to go stay in Fuji Kawaguchiko to see Mount Fuji for 2 nights, and then head on to your next destination after that in Kyoto, I would recommend to you as an avid traveler to pack an overnight bag for your stay in Fuji Kawaguchiko. Before you leave Tokyo, send all of your large luggage to your hotel in Kyoto, and it will be at your hotel when you arrive. That way, when you're just doing like a 1 or 2 night overstay stop, you're not dragging a bunch of stuff with you. Something else to note is that the airports will hold on to your luggage for like 30 days. So if at the end of the trip you are realizing you're just hanging on to a bunch of luggage that you don't need, you can send your luggage to one of the airports that you're flying out of, and they will hold it there, and then you can just pick up your luggage at the airport before you fly out. Now, this could have been a little confusing, and I hope that it wasn't, but if you have any questions about using the luggage forwarding services, please let me know in the comments, and myself or other travelers will chime in below to help answer those questions. Today's travel tips are actually sponsored by my trusted travel partner, Airlo, which is an eSIM company. eSIMs are SIM cards that are 100% digital, downloaded straight to your phone. Get you connected to a local cell phone tower. If you are using an eSIM in Japan and you connect to a phone tower, it's probably the same phone tower that I'm using. This makes your phone data connection more reliable, safer, and faster than if you were using an international phone plan from your home country. When I hosted my guided tours this past October, many of my travelers used Airlo as their eSIM provider, and it kept them connected the entire time. We also learned that if they were getting really slow data connection, they just needed to pop into Wi-Fi and top off their data service. Whether you need maps for directions, internet access, a translator app, or data to post on social media to make your friends jealous, use my code her.atlas 3 and download an eSIM through Airlo. It's essential for your travels. It's important to set up your eSIM before you ever arrive, so I want to show you how easy it is to do. The Airlo app to your phone, choose an eSIM plan. You can choose from over 200 countries and regions. They even have regional plans in case you're visiting multiple countries on your trip. Purchase your plan and use my code her.atlas 3 to get a discount. Install the eSIM. Do this when you have a strong Wi-Fi before your flight. The eSIMs do not mess with the SIM card that's already in your phone, so it's not going to mess with your phone number or change it or anything like that. It just simply gets you connected the moment you land. Make sure you turn off your previous SIM card and turn on the Airlo one. Don't forget to stay connected with Airlo. You can check the link in my description to download the app today and use my code her.atlas 3 to get $3 off of your plan. Suica and Pasmo transportation cards. They can be used for pretty much everything. So most people know Pasmo and Suica as something as the train pass, you know, you can scan in and out by loading money on them, but there's so much more than that. So much more than that. I always recommend adding your Suica to your Apple Wallet, and then you can reload 20,000 yen at a time. You can use it to pay at restaurants, vending machines, buses, taxis, ferries. You can use it at shopping, cafes. Am I forgetting anything? I don't know. You do need a Suica transportation card for each individual person. So if I put a Suica card on my phone, I can only use it for one person at a time. So if you're traveling as a group, each person needs their own Suica card, at least if you're using the trains and ferries and things like that. I've done other videos about this, so if I need to go into more detail, please let me know. Speaking of transportation, children and their tickets, if they are, I want to say it's 6 years old to 11, they have a discounted price. It is half price their train fares, but 0 to 5 years old are free, so you don't have to buy them anything. But 6 to 11, they do need their own train ticket. If they don't have a phone or anything like that, you can take them to go get their own Suica card at the train station, at the airport. Just go look for one of the information desks and they'll help you. You need to show them your children's passport to validate their age, and then they'll give you the fair Suica card or Pasmo card. Welcome Suica mobile app just released like days ago. And I really like this as an option for you guys. So the other Suica card that is green, it does have a mobile app, but it's quite complicated and annoying to figure out. It's like all in Japanese, which is why I always recommend adding Suica or Pasmo to your Apple Wallet. But this has a lot of really great resources for you if it's your first time here. So on the actual screen, once you go through the downloading process, I think you have to be physically in Japan to download it. Somebody let us know in the comments. But it is in English. It is simplified for you. I really like the support page for you guys. It gives you step-by-step how to use the Suica, what it is used for, how you can use the app to get your Shinkansen tickets, and then there's even customer support. There's account information, which I'm not going to show you because then you'll have access to my card, but it shows you the account number, my password, Suica ID, how much is on it, etc. I did not have anything like this my first time to Japan, and this would have been really nice to have. So first visit to Japan, definitely get the Welcome Suica mobile app. If you have any type of dietary restrictions in Japan, like vegan, vegetarian, or gluten-free, it's not going to be an impossible experience for you to eat and dine in Japan, but it will make it challenging. I think gluten-free and vegan is probably one of the two challenging dietary restrictions or allergies that you could have when coming to Japan. But I think it's really helpful and valuable to come prepared with like cards written down in Japanese, translated in Japanese of what your restrictions and allergies are. And something to note that I put here is that pork is a really big ingredient in foods here. If you go to a ramen shop and you order the chicken ramen, the broth still could be made with pork. Or if you order a chicken katsu curry, the curry itself could still likely have pork in it. So if you're allergic to pork or you don't eat pork, that is something that's really important to make a mental note of. It is easy to be a vegetarian in Japan, but again, being vegan or gluten-free does have a lot more challenges. I think a lot of people already know this already, but the JR Rail Pass isn't always worth it. Sometimes you end up spending more money purchasing the Rail Pass than you do just an individual ticket. The best way to cross-reference this information is to go to the official JR Shinkansen website and type in where you're going. Go to Kyoto and then Kyoto to Osaka. Maybe you'll go to Himeji or Hiroshima while you're here. You can actually see how much each of those individual tickets is going to be. You're going to total those up and then compare it to the price of the JR Rail Pass. From what I've heard from my travelers is that if you're using the JR Rail Pass and you're basically going somewhere different every single day, it does make your money's worth, but from my understanding and the numbers that I've crunched for a normal traveler's experience, the JR Rail Pass just isn't always worth it. So make sure you check that before you purchase it. If you are checking into a hotel or reserving any kind of Airbnb, very normal for hotels and Airbnbs to ask for and take photos of your passport. That is actually a law here, so please don't be surprised. It's really not sketchy. I was sketched out the first time that an Airbnb host asked me to take a photo and copy my passport. I was like, what is this? But now that I know better, it is very normal here, so don't be sketched out. Please make sure you have your passport on you as a tourist at all times. It is illegal for you to be walking around without your passport. I believe that police officers can approach you at any point and ask you for your passport, and if you don't have it on you, you will get fined. There are other benefits, of course, to have your passport on you. Identification reasons in case something happens or there's an accident, but also because you're eligible for tax-free shopping in Japan. This is actually a good way to talk about tax-free shopping really quickly. They are changing the rules in Japan, which I think go into effect in April. Previously in Japan, when you purchase something tax-free, you actually just don't pay the tax on those items at all. You could be subject to paying the tax on them when you leave Japan if they ask you for something, and whatever, that doesn't matter anymore. There's a new rule in Japan that you will pay the taxes for the items, and then when you get to Japan at the tax refund center or counter, you will turn in your paperwork and all of that stuff, and then you will get reimbursed. So this is new in Japan. I believe that's something that happens in a lot of other countries like When I was in South Korea, that's how they did it. We got our money back. In Europe, that's how they do it. You get your money back. So if you do spend quite a bit of money and you have a lot of tax-free things you need to claim, then I would be prepared to arrive at the airport earlier than expected. I'm assuming that when this transition happens, it's probably going to be kind of messy. The employees are going to be new to the process too, so please give them grace. Arrive at the airport early. The other thing about tax-free items is that they will seal them in plastic bags because you are not supposed to be using tax-free items while you're in Japan. So keep all the items sealed. Don't use it. I always tell people, like, if you want to buy something and actually use it in Japan, just don't buy it tax-free. I don't know. I hope that was helpful. Whatever you think you need to pack less. You are probably going to do a lot of shopping when you're here, and you really only need about 4 days worth of clothing, no matter like how much time you're going to be here. A lot of hotels have laundry inside of them because they're catering to businessmen who are traveling or even tourists like yourselves. And if your hotel doesn't have a laundry service inside, which is coin laundry, you can also find 24-hour laundromats nearby. And the cool thing about a 24-hour laundromat is, like, when you wake up at like 2 or 3 a.m. because you're jet lagged, you can go do laundry at that time. And then while you're waiting, you can go do a little midnight kombini run or find some midnight ramen if you wanted. But yeah, I always tell people you're gonna do a lot of shopping when you're here, and it's just best to pack less and pack light if you can. Purchase luggage when you're here from somewhere like Don Quixote. When you're using Google and Google Maps and you're trying to find a restaurant or a bar or a cafe or even something kind of niche like a fabric store, the best way to search for these things is to think like a local. And locals are not Googling ramen shops in English. They are Googling it in Japanese, or a fabric store in Japanese. So I think that's one of my like hot takes, hot tips. If you really want to find something local, authentic, use Google Translate. Translate the word ramen, copy and paste it into Google, and you're going to generate a lot more searches. And you know, when you kind of think about it, places that want to cater towards tourists and foreigners are going to write their descriptions in English. They want to be found by English speakers, or they want to accommodate you. But yeah, I think if you want to find really local spots, search it in the local language. If you are planning to visit any kind of cafe or theme park or museum that requires tickets, like Team Labs, which is really amazing, by the way, you need to keep a pulse on when to make reservations and buy tickets. Like, if you can buy a ticket in advance, you should. And most places have their tickets go on sale about 2 months in advance. Sometimes it's even longer. But if something is a high priority for you to see and experience, please get your tickets 2-3 months in advance, or at least do your research 4 months in advance so you know when tickets will go on sale. With that being said, there are many things and experiences that you can get last minute. I don't really like to tell people to jam pack their itinerary. I say to have 1 or 2 things that you would like to do every day, and then everything else just kind of see like where the day takes you. It takes a lot of pressure off. So try not to pack too much in, but if you can get a reservation, you definitely should. And if you're trying to figure out what websites to use to get tickets to things, I really like Klook. I do have not partnership with them. I don't get any kickback from it, but I do have a link I'll put in the description below. Klook is kind of like the Groupon of Asia. So you can get tickets to literally anything. You can get day tours to Mount Fuji. You can get food tours, tickets to Disney, tickets to Universal Studios Japan, Harry Potter World, different cafes, all kinds of stuff. And it's all in English. It's all going to be in your local currency. So if you are looking for a website that kind of has like everything, you get tickets to Team Labs. Klook, that's actually what my family uses when we have to book things. So they're reliable, they're safe, it's easy to use, and 10 out of 10 recommend. If you plan on doing any excursions in the Japanese countryside, please get your international driver's license. Please. If you are going to do anything outside of a city, even if you don't think you're going to drive, get your international driver's license. I would rather you have that and not need it than need it and not have it. This probably applies if you've, been to Japan many times and want to explore other areas. Like, there's just so many things that are easier to see and more accessible by car, and I just personally don't like to rely on public transportation if I'm in a time crunch. We do drive on the left side here, but yeah, you will not be able to rent a car unless you have your international driver's license. In order to get that, depending on where you live, just Google,
how do I get my international driver's license if I live in blank?
If you're interested in other Japan travel tips, experiences, and adventures, please check out my YouTube channel. I have 5.5 years worth of videos for you guys to check out. If you're interested in traveling with me on one of my guided tours, please check the links in the description, because again, I have 3 tours coming out. Not coming out, they've already launched for 2025 and 2026. And I would love to meet you guys. It would be super fun. That being said, let me know if you guys have any questions below in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!